Today, we'll present a framework for financial institutions to manage natural and biodiversity risks, illustrated by 2 case studies. Our 5-step approach begins with risk identification, defining, categorizing, and mapping impact. Next, risk assessment involves adopting reliable methodologies on both qualitative and quantitative sides, integrating heat maps and scenario analysis to make it robust. Stress testing can also be introduced to link risks to financial stability. Step 3 is establish KIs with threshold for early warning, supported by the scenario tools. Mitigation follows, and the financial institutions should also align portfolio with biodiversity goals. Finally, corporate governance system should also emphasize the report and the regulatory framework. A flowchart summarizes the natural and biodiversity risks stemming from the physical risks like disasters, deforestation, and the transition risk like policy and market shifts, cascading into systematic and economic risks. For FI, they should identify such risks in their clients or portfolio, with particular attention to the vulnerable sectors such as agriculture and mining. Mapping this risk, for example, one of these could be credit risk from loan default due to crop failure. Regarding assessment, the key thing is to start with a reliable method. From qualitative side, FI can adapt a lead process where for guiding questions to determine if analysis start with locate, which might be more suitable for the project finance or real estate, or evaluate, which is suitable for listed equity or debt. For quantitative side, there will be a scores system. It's a structured scorecard, and FI can grade their client's portfolio by using client level data. After the visual assessment, heat maps can be used to prioritize high impact clients. Scenario analysis integrates uncertainties. TNFD, for example, concerns the natural laws and ability to adopt, as well as the alignments of market and non-market forces, where FIs can gain some insights. FI can seek partnership opportunity from geographic analytic firms to obtain granular data to conduct physical stress tests and use sectoral exposure data to conduct transition stress tests. The role is to link transition and physical risk scenarios to outcomes or losses in FI. However, given cost constraints, this may be more feasible for central banks. Finally, FI should evaluate short-term risks such as physical risk immediately, while monitoring medium-term risks like transition risks on a regular basis, and in longer term, consider the potential impact of systematic risk.
To track this risk proactively, our dashboard integrates advanced tools. We utilize satellite platforms like Global Forest Watch for real-time deforestation alert and AI analytics to predict ecosystem tipping points, such as coral reef collapse. The Anchor platform maps portfolio dependencies on ecosystems, quantifying exposure to risk. We also employ key risk identifiers such as deforestation rate, water stress scores, and species endangerment trends, with all alert triggered when thresholds like a 0.1% annual deforestation rate are exceeded. Additionally, we set financial stability threshold by flagging portfolios with over 5% exposure to high water stress regions. For mitigation, we issue biodiversity linking loans, restricting high-risk sectors, and implementing parametric insurance and hedging strategies, aligning portfolios with TNFD goals for a net positive biodiversity impact by 2030. In Step 5, we establish a robust framework to ensure transparency and accountability for risk reporting. This stage involves categorizing risk, covering credit, market, operational, and reputational impact, and developing KRIs for biodiversity losses, deforestation, and water scarcity. We enhance data reliability using geospatial analytics, satellite data, and AI, aligning our disclosure with frameworks like GRI and TNFD climate requirements. The quarterly annual reports, along with the stress test, support our regulatory filing and stakeholder communications, all overseen by a dedicated oversight committee integrated into our enterprise risk management framework. In summary, our 5-stage framework equips financial institutions to tackle natural-related risk holistically, which turns risk into opportunities, ensuring financial stability while safeguarding our planet.
HSBC is a global bank with reach all over the world, serving over 41 million customers in 64 countries. Their worldwide operations and clients implore them to be diligent in their mitigation of climate risks, as they have a great reputation for their climate policy. This can be displayed by being placed 64 out of 395 financial institutions by the World Benchmarking Alliance, leaving them susceptible to reputational risk. The main framework outlined by HSBC on their website that they use to mitigate and approach nature-related risk are the Equator Principles. These were adopted in 2003 and are used when financing large projects for clients. The framework follows steps of categorization. This is where a project is assessed on the risk it can pose to the environment. HSBC must then conduct environmental and social impact assessments to evaluate potential impacts of the project, which is then followed by the borrower developing a plan to mitigate the issues identified. There also has to be consultation with the communities affected by the project, and also independent consultants may be hired to ensure compliances with the principles. Finally, HSBC must report their compliance with the Equator Principles annually, outlining the projects they have used the principles for.
HSBC's framework under the Equator Principle has several strengths. First, sector-specific policies allow HSBC to tailor its risk mitigation strategies and ensure that projects are assessed based on their industry classification. This structured approach categorizes projects and enables a systematic evaluation. Community engagement is another key strength, as HSBC directly consult affected community through free, prior, and informed consent from indigenous groups. HSBC's transparent annual compliance report strengthens accountability. Additionally, use of independent consultants provides an unbiased assessment, which enhances HSBC's credibility. Despite these strengths, there are notable weaknesses. Data limitation hinder effective biodiversity screening, as available and quality data are challenging to collect. Given the evolving nature of biodiversity data, accuracy issues further complicate risk assessment. Complex implementation is another drawback, as it requires extensive monitoring and resource-intensive evaluations. Lastly, dependence on third-party evaluation can slow decision-making and introduce inconsistency in risk assessment. So to introduce and address these challenges, HSBC should invest in transparent data collection, and they should leverage AI and remote sensing, which can help with enhancing risk management through more effective approaches. And lastly, setting realistic sustainability goals that are more practical can maintain stakeholder trust better.
DBS is the largest bank in Southeast Asia, operating in 19 markets worldwide. Its services span consumer, corporate, and investment banking, wealth management, and treasury. Known as the world's best digital bank, DBS also integrates sustainability into its strategy and is consistently ranked among Asia's safest banks. To manage nature and biodiversity risks, DBS embeds these risks into its environmental risk management framework, aligned with the Monetary Authority of Singapore's guidelines. It prioritizes high-impact sectors like the agriculture, forestry, and fisheries. DBS enforces strict exclusion policies, avoiding financing projects related to illegal logging, exploitation of protected areas, or harm to high conservation value and high carbon stock forests. It also offers sustainability-linked loans, such as those supporting palm oil clients in meeting Roundtable on Sustainable Palm Oil Certification. The bank engages clients in high-risk sectors to improve sustainability and applies the Equator Principles to manage ESG risks in project financing. For assessment, DBS uses internal scores and certifications like the Forest Stewardship Council, Marine Stewardship Council, Rainforest Alliance, and International Sustainability and Carbon Certification. They have started climate stress testing and are exploring nature-specific tests aligned with the Task Force on Nature-Related Financial Disclosures. Monitoring tools include satellite data for deforestation and land use changes, along with our AI analytics and regular ESG data collection. Finally, DBS reports align with the Global Reporting Initiative, Sustainability Accounting Standards Boards, and Task Force on Climate-Related Financial Disclosures. It complies with the Monetary Authority of Singapore and the International Sustainability Standards Board guidelines and engages stakeholders through the Asia Sustainable Finance Initiative and Sustainable Finance Institute Asia. Overall, DBS sets a strong regional benchmark in nature and biodiversity risk management.
Let's examine DBS's approach to biodiversity risk management. DBS stands out for its early adaptation of TNFD framework, integration of ESG risk into credit processes, and sector-specific ESG expertise. Its transparency in reporting nature-related exposures is also commendable. However, challenges remain, such as limited biodiversity data, lack of fine-scale mapping, and reliance on client disclosure. There is also room to improve scenario analysis and develop biodiversity-specific KPIs. To strengthen its position, DBS should create nature-specific KPIs, for example, deforestation-free targets, and improve geospatial risk mapping, run biodiversity scenario analysis, and expand ESG efforts beyond high-risk sectors. Doing so would help DBS lead the region in biodiversity-aligned finance. This report introduces a risk framework for financial institutions to manage biodiversity risks using tools like TNFDs, LEAP, and VBA scoring. Case studies of HSBC and DBS show real-world potential. HSBC focuses on structured reporting, while DBS leads in early TNFD adaptation, though both face challenges in data quality and metric development. The framework aligns with key regulatory standards and technologies like ENCORE and NASA's EOS-DES. For broader adaptation, FIs must improve data transparency, build biodiversity benchmarks, and integrate nature risks into core systems. In short, proactive TNFD adaptation and investment in geographic data will be essential to strengthen strengthen financial resilience, and drive sustainable finance. Thank you for listening.